you looking up tonight? Mulling under the moonlight. Never thought to let it go. Soul searching out of your window. Daylight, never sleep unless your head's by mine. Holding on to what we call divine. Do you think we're running out of time? Too late to stay, too dark for you to head home. Lay here with me, we'll watch another episode. Don't say goodnight. Stay by my side. Daylight rushes in over your emerald eyes. Guess that means that we're all out of time. Like a dream, you only come out at night. Am I crazy? Watch the sun as it's fading. Can't believe I'm waiting around on you. So complicated. I thought that you would leave it, yet here we are under the moon. Too late to stay, too dark for you to head home. Lay here with me, we'll watch another episode. Don't say goodnight. Stay by my side. Too late to stay, too dark for you to head home. Lay here with me, we'll watch another episode. Don't say goodnight. Stay by my side. Too late to stay, too dark for you to head home. Lay here with me, we'll watch another episode. Don't say goodnight. Stay by my side.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. There's no talk of an invincible season. City have got it out of the way this year by losing immediately almost at the Etihad, certainly. Well, guys, I'm back from the Etihad. I'm sure there was someone on coke 5 rows in front of me. Jesus Christ, he would not shut the fuck up. He was crying so much. Shouting at everyone. So, calm down, mate. It's all right. It's only football. In today's installment, I saw someone put a message saying, "Why didn't you do a stream?" Or "I wish you did a stream." I go to the Etihad for the home Premier League games, so you just have to bear with me for those matches. Every other game we'll do a watch along for, though. Don't worry. But those ones I will go to the Etihad. In today's installment, what we are going to be discussing is obviously the match. Was it a tactical masterclass from Thomas Frank? Was it stinky from Pep? Did Frank do one on Guardiola? What was the state of play? What is the situation? I'm going to give my thoughts on it and hopefully try to offer some sort of, I don't know, I was going to say solution, but that's not the correct term, is it? Explanation, perhaps, maybe, and what can actually be done about it, if indeed anything. Has anything changed? Are City just as bad as they were last season? Is there more to it than meets the eye? Are some players just not good enough? Are some players not being used correctly? And even more, of course. Make sure you're leaving a like on the video because it's free and it does really help your boy continue to make content for you guys. Their channel's been doing really well recently, and that's all because of you beautiful people. Thank you so much for your wonderful help. I sincerely mean it. It really makes me very happy. Thank you so much, guys, for your lovely help and support. If you watch my tactical preview, and if you haven't been watching the tactical previews, what are you doing? This season I've been committing to do a tactical preview before every single match. I don't want to blow my own trumpet. No, that's a lie. I definitely do. Spurs set up exactly how I suggested they would, on ball and off ball. They even played the exact midfield that I suggested they would play, which is quite funny. And lots of people were suggesting that, well, maybe Spurs could play a back five, and absolutely, I totally understood where that came from. We even explored that as a possibility on the preview, because they're coming to the Etihad, it's Thomas Frank, there's every world where they would be playing a back five and be really defensive against City. Like I was on with Hassam and Mo yesterday, and we were having the conversation about, will it be the most disgusting Spurs low block you've ever seen? And the answer was obviously no. And I guess that's the first port of call, and that's the first discussion point that I want to bring up. Why? Why did Spurs come to the Etihad, and why did they have the confidence and the bravery to play how they did, off ball in particular? Why? Why? Before I get into that properly, first of all, of course, congratulations to Spurs. I felt that you were the better side, obviously, and almost certainly deserved the win. I think the City probably should have scored a couple as well, but either way, I'm not going to begrudge Spurs for the victory, obviously. So why did Spurs feel like they could do that? How dare they? What sort of scumbags? Obviously, I'm joking, guys. What sort of fiends are they to come to the Etihad and think that they can play like that against us? I tweeted about it. There was a moment, in fact, there were two. The first two goal kicks we had, I don't know if it came across on broadcast. Did you see how advanced Spence was? Like, he was literally their left back. Just a reminder, he's their left back. Do you see how advanced he was? He was holding Reinders' hand, and Reinders was dropping very deep in order to help out with build-up. Frank didn't give a shit. And Spence did not give a shit for those first two in particular. Now, after those first two moments, he didn't do it as much. But I think that was almost like a sign of, well, we actually do not care, and we actually are not scared. And again, apologies to blow and toot trumpets, but this is what we have been saying on this channel for a fair few weeks and months now. Once you remove someone like Ederson from that, obviously from his position of being in goal, you are going to see how other sides do not fear us as much, and they will know that they can come to us, the better sides anyway, they will know that they can come to us, and they will know that they are able to get at us in respect of the build-up, because it's going to be far trickier for us. And I think that if Ederson does leave this season, this is going to be such an interesting season. Because, again, I think a lot of City fans are in for a very rude awakening. You're going to see a very different side to City in that sense, based on what the opposition are going to do. It's what I feared. It's what I was very fearful of happening. And sadly, it's exactly what did happen. I'm not going to have a go at Trafford too much, because he's an inexperienced goalkeeper. Like, this is his second season in the top flight. If you have a young goalkeeper, they are going to make those mistakes. You have to accept that. That's the other thing I need to say. I don't actually want Trafford as my number one. I've said that quite a lot, but just feel like I need to make that clear. I don't want Trafford as my number one this season. I was actually, if you remember the first stream I did when Trafford was, announced as basically coming, I was very concerned. I was very concerned because I thought, is he ready to make that step up? I don't think so. I'm very concerned he's coming in, Ederson leaves, what's going to happen there? And then it came out, Ederson's staying for a season. And I was like, okay, this is amazing. Ederson for one more season. We ease Trafford into that number one goalkeeper position, and it's a beautiful time had by all. It's a beautiful time had by all. So those mistakes will happen. As I say, that is just going to be a fundamental if he does play. And it's again in my tactical preview. I know that Ederson's allegedly leaving, whatever. I wanted to start Ederson, and I think that would have been the correct decision, because there was always a situation where Frank's Spurs went man-to-man against us, like Frank's Brentford did. And again, that's something that we discussed in the preview. Expect to see that happen a lot more over the course of this season if Ederson leaves. And the thing is, I'm not even talking about the goal. That's the thing. I'm not even talking about the goal. I'm talking about nearly every single time in the first half where Spurs felt that they would just be able to get at us. We weren't able to cope with it well enough. And that was partly our fault, of course. It wasn't good enough from players who should do a lot better on ball. But you've also got to credit Spurs. You've also got to credit Spurs for their pressing as well. And as I say, their bravery to be able to do that. As I say, they were willing to leave a back three. So it was primarily Porro, Romero, and Van de Ven. And then, as I say, Spence would really push up either onto Lewis or onto Reinders. Reinders at first, and then Lewis. And IDK raises a good point, and this is what I want to say now. That has happened to City before. And again, it was Frank's Brentford, where it happened last season. The exact same thing happened, where they pushed other players up man-to-man, and they basically suffocated us, and we weren't able to build up from the back optimally. So what did City do? They go long, they find Haaland with those really accurate balls from Ederson. That's how City scored their first goal or second goal against Brentford last season. I can't recall, but it was one of them either way. There was one moment where Trafford did do that, and then Spence, to be fair, backed off a little bit. Trafford found, I think, Haaland finds Marmoush, and the angle's very tight, but Marmoush nearly gets it on target, doesn't he? Nearly scores. That was really the only time where we were able to properly, successfully just bypass all areas of build-up and just go long. He did it a couple of times, but not necessarily from goal kicks and that sort of area. Trafford did. So again, that's another weapon and another tool that has been lost if Ederson doesn't play. Because again, Ederson, you know that he's consistently... It's a very repeatable action from him. He's able to do that consistently. So, I don't know what the goalkeeping situation is. This is not reactive from me. I've been saying this for a while now. I really, really think it's an error to let Ederson go this season, given that we are still clearly determined to play out from the back like that. AK, thank you very much for your super chat, mate. If I'm the Sheikh, I'm presenting PSG a blank check. For who? Surely not the goalkeeper who's even worse at playing out from the back. Thank you for your super chat, AK. But everything I've just said there does not point to... would not point to getting in a goalkeeper who's even worse at that. So I actually think the solution is to keep... the goalkeeper who can play out from the back. And as I say, if there is a world where Trafford can become the number one, ease him into it. There's less pressure. Trafford's first game of the Etihad should not be against Thomas Franks' Spurs. It really shouldn't. I think that it was just potentially too much for him. Did some good shot stopping in the match. That was lovely towards the end, as I say. But we're talking about the ball playing right now. And as I say, it wasn't just the goal. I'm not even talking about the goal necessarily. It's just the overall inability to get out and progress centrally wasn't good enough. And that is going to be exacerbated if you bring in a goalkeeper who is even worse with his feet. So if Pep is insistent on doing this and playing like this, then we are going to be in for a world of pain if Ederson leaves. Regardless of who we keep, by the way. Regardless of who we keep. Trafford is good on the ball. He is good. But we know that there are levels. We know there are levels in this game. So that's just even more so confirmed my original thoughts and fears, whatever the right term is. That has just really confirmed that, to be honest with you, and that is, and it's a concern that it looks like Ederson is going, and I actually don't know what the solution is, because I was contemplating, and we have discussed this at length. We talked about how, well, maybe a solution is you drop back loads of players to help out that build-up. Reinders was so deep, and Nico was so deep, and it still wasn't enough. Now, maybe that's just because, we didn't have Rodri on the pitch, we didn't have Gvardiol on the pitch, so maybe that's different, and of course, Rodri's a much better defensive midfielder than Nico, who isn't a defensive midfielder. We all know that. But still, I don't see this as being some sort of, overnight... some sort of overnight fix where these players start, and then all of a sudden teams can go, oh, we can't press City anymore, or as well. I still think there is a big frailty there. It can definitely be mitigated a little bit by Gavardio coming back, left-footed left centre-back, and obviously Rodri coming in, who is the best defensive midfielder in the world, of course. Nico is still learning the role. He wasn't very good today, to be honest with you. I thought he had a great game against Wolves, under more pressure today. Again, the positioning, I'm not happy with it. The decision-making is still not there. But again, I'm more than happy to wait on Nico because, again, he is not a defensive midfielder, and hopefully everyone can now see this, that he is not that. He can be moulded into that sort of player, but it's a similar situation with like Trafford to me. I don't want Nico to have to be starting right now, early in the season. I want it to be Rodri, and maybe Nico can be eased in, and gradually, slowly. And same thing with Trafford. I don't want him to be our number one. Martin, incredibly generous. Thank you so much, mate. You're already supporting the channel, so you don't have to do that. But thank you so much. I will come to the chat in a moment, by the way. I'm not just reading super chats, I do promise. We looked all over the place. We were too quick for ourselves. Midfield poor and weak. Great when winning, but what I saw today was in a dogfight. Some are not ready. Yes, and we're definitely getting to that, Martin. Thank you so much, mate. And here's a fortune for you from the Hall in Fortune cookie. I love how it automatically cuts these ones. You don't even have to rip it out. That is beautiful. This fortune's taken the piss. A cheerful message is on its way to you. And I tell you what, it bloody is, because today's stream is sponsored by NordVPN, and that's a cheerful message for you guys. We'll be hearing more about them later. You guys like how I worked in the advertisement into that fortune? That's your cheerful message, Martin. NordVPN have got a great deal for you. Right. Thank you so much, Martin, again, for your very generous super chat. Can NordVPN change the scoreline and say, look, I back the company. I don't back them that much, though. I don't back them that much. Chill. So, absolutely, Martin, yes. So that is a concern, as I say. It was always going to be a concern. Once again, we know that Nico is an 8, learning the 6. We know that Trafford is an inexperienced goalkeeper who may be able to be that sort of player, and I'm not willing to give up on him. Like, it's his first game at the Etihad. Ederson made similar errors in his debut year, and again, I'm not just talking about the goal. It was just like the general decision-making, and also just like the... But, yeah, no, what we have lost, though, as I say, is that ability to play long and just like evade pressure. Once again, against better sides where we can't just bully them in the midfield, they're going to do that to us. If Arsenal come to the Etihad, it would not surprise me if they just didn't bother dropping deep. It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't bother getting rid of that low block. They'll just press us with Ødegaard, with Saka, with Havertz, whoever, and Liverpool as well. Against those better sides, it is a concern. And it will continue to be a concern even if our better ball players come in. I'm so sure and confident that Ederson needs to stay. That's made me even more. That game has made me even more confident that Ederson should stay and Donnarumma cannot come in, because it will be exacerbated by that, by him coming in. If we opt to play like that, it will just be exacerbated. So my opinions have actually been solidified in that sense. So that's the build-up situation. Bengal, we have a lot of not rights in the chat, clearly. Chad, I don't disagree. There is a lot of overreaction, and I think that's important to note. Whatever I say here, and I'm going to touch on every single player, because we touch on the whole game. It's the second game of the season. We're up against Spurs. We're up against Thomas Frank. We should have done better in front of goal. The team is still getting used to one another. I'm personally, I'm not happy with the result, obviously, but I'm not properly upset. Do you know what I mean? I'm obviously upset, but I'm not oh, I'm so angry. It's, I can see things. I can see things. It's chill. It's chill. To me, it's not saying you can't get upset if you don't want to. By the way, of course, go for it. But let's not get reactive and overreactive and throw the baby out with the bathwater. That ain't what we're gonna do. What else happened with the sides here? So Spurs built up in the, as I mentioned in the preview, they did build up in their 4-2-4. You had the full back split really wide. And I think we saw for the first goal that they were able to successfully drag us over to their right side, our left. I can't recall Ait-Nouri's. I know Ait-Nouri wasn't on the pitch at that point, was he? Because he went off. When did Ait-Nouri go off exactly? Big up Team Mask System, by the way. When did he go off exactly? Because I do want to touch on Ait-Nouri. I feel it was the 15th minute. 23rd. Okay, 23rd. Yeah. So it must have been like, I can't remember Ake's positioning for their first goal then. I think that it's an unfortunate slip. It's an unfortunate slip by Stones, obviously. Diaz should have done better winning it as well. But the stone slip is unfortunate. I think one thing that I would say, and of course, like it's not good enough from Diaz, it's not good enough for my Stones to do the slip. I'm not going to blame Lewis for the goal, but what I would say is there was a reason why I really wanted Núñez to start this game, because of the significant pace that Spurs have on that counter and in transition, and we saw that Lewis just simply could not keep up. And again, this isn't me having a go at Lewis, but there was a big reason why I wanted Núñez to be on the pitch. I think that there needed to be a bit more athleticism in that side in order to deal with that, in order to deal with a Spurs side who have a lot of strength and pace all over the pitch, in the middle and indeed out wide as well. So Lewis starting did confuse me a little bit, to be honest with you. I would have liked to have seen Núñez. I guess Lewis started because you can't have Núñez and Bob and Shirky all on the pitch at the same time. I don't think that can work. So I guess that was maybe the logic there. If you want Bob and Shirky on the pitch, you probably need to have Lewis on the pitch as well. I can't really see how you'd get Núñez and Bob and Shirky on the pitch all at the same time without giving Shirky like a really weird role, to be honest with you. But there we go. Nitin, I'm going to give you one chance, pet, because you ran away like a coward when you were called out the other day. You made a statement. I am never wrong. That is what you said. Admit that you were wrong when you said City would not even finish in the top 5 last season. If your next comment isn't you admitting that, I'm going to give a moderator permission to ban you. Step up, pet. Come on. You can't say I'm never wrong and then make an objective untruth. If your next comment isn't an apology and saying, yes, I'm wrong, apologies, you're going to get banned. FYI. You can't run away. You can't run away from your responsibilities. Bernardo can't be a Shirky sub. It killed us, says the masked citizen. We'll get onto that in a moment. AK says, to clarify, I'm putting my faith in Trafford. I just want a resolution. Is Ed coming or going? I don't need John Luigi. I just hate the window. I know what you mean as well. Yeah. I know what you mean, matey. It's very frustrating. AK, you don't have to keep doing super chats, mate. Thank you so much, though, for wanting to support me. Right. What was I saying? Yes, I was talking about Lewis. I wouldn't have started him personally. I'm not going to, as I said, I don't want to blame him for the first goal, but all I am saying is that I do feel like we know that Spurs are always going to have some sort of opportunity to counterattack us at some point. Okay, Nitin, bye-bye. Bye-bye. See ya. All you had to do, that was some pirate software type bullshit. You know, where that guy just kept doubling down and tripling down and quadrupling down. He couldn't even accept that he was wrong when he said that City would... when he said City would not even finish in the top 5 last season. He can't even accept that. Mad. I gave you a great opportunity there, Nitin. Everyone's been wanting to ban you for months. I keep defending you, and they keep saying, well, he's not really being rude or whatever, and yeah, he does say silly things. I feel like I've given you so many chances, mate, and I feel like that's on you, you know? So you can observe. I think if you're blocked, you can still observe, but I don't think you can comment in the chat. And as I say, that's on you, mate. I wanted to give you another chance. I thought I was doing quite well there. I actually don't know what to say, mate. That's on you. That's on you, not me. That's on you, not me, I'm afraid. So, there we go. Hashtag I was there, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So, that happened. That was a thing. We've touched on the second goal and indeed the wider build-up concerns therein. Yeah, if Donnarumma does, just very briefly, if, just going back to build up one last time, if Donnarumma does come in, then I think that, like, I don't think I ever really want Diaz to ever play, to be honest, if Stones is fit. I think just to, if we're going to play like that, and still really rely on it, unless we change, obviously, unless we switch up, then I think nearly every single back four has to have Stones and Gvardiol in it, and Aït-Nouri as well. I can't see any other world in which there's even a world in which we can still function and try to play how we usually do. So that's just a brief thing there. So we need Gvardiol back ASAP. ASAP, yeah? The sooner he can come in, the better. The sooner Rodri can come in, the better. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a shame that Aït-Nouri got injured, and now I want to talk about the left side. We will be talking about the subs. We will be talking about everyone, to be honest with you. Spurs in Kudus and Porro have a really interesting right side. We know how good it is going forwards, but Kudus is also like a massive workhorse off ball as well. And that made it, to me, even more confusing that we set up the left side in the way that we did. I don't know what the... I don't know where the end goal is with Marmoush, based on the start of this season. Even in... I'm going to extend that to the Club World Cup as well. I don't think that Marmoush... When Aït-Nouri and Marmoush played together, please correct me if I'm wrong, guys. When Marmoush and Aït-Nouri played together in the Club World Cup, did we ever see Aït-Nouri left wing and Marmoush left of centre? Did we see that? Am I misremembering? Am I misremembering there? Let me know. Let me know. Because I may be misremembering. I can't recall. We didn't see it against... Well, we didn't see it against Wolves because Marmoush didn't start. We didn't see it in like the first... When did Aït-Nouri go off? 20 or so minutes as well. Now, again, it was only... he only had 20 minutes on the pitch. So... Who knows what would have happened had he not got injured? And we can also say that, well, Nobbins, shut up, your complaint is irrelevant because actually Marmoush should have scored. You know? He should have done so much better. That chance that Haaland created for him, by the way, that was really good by Haaland. Why couldn't he do that sort of playmaking in the second half with that one moment, which we will get to? It was fantastic. I think Bob won it back. To be fair, I think it was on a transition, so it wasn't in settle play. I'll go back and watch it, but I believe it was in a transition, the moment I'm talking about, where Bob won it back. Haaland, ridiculous dribbling, plays in Marmoush, and he's 1v1. He's got to do better, I think. Marmoush has got to do so much better. That is what he's fantastic at. That finishing, that goal scoring, that is what we need him to be. In that central area as well, where he's best at. He was in his perfect zone, more towards the centre of the pitch, close to goal, 1v1, should be doing so much better there. And we touched on the one where Trafford played the ball, and then it came to Marmoush, and he just scuffed it wide. So once again, you can say, well, who cares? Because he should have scored. So it's whatever. I still don't like how he's being used. If you're going to play Marmoush to be the primary left-sided outlet, I actually don't think that he should be on the pitch. I don't think he should be on the pitch, to be honest with you. That is not the same as, I don't like Marmoush, he shouldn't be on the pitch. If that is to be his use, if that's his usage, and he's not getting any proper help from Aït-Nouri, then I don't think that he should be playing, to be honest with you. I don't think that he should be playing at all. And guys, if you are one of those people who's coming into the chat and, I don't know, making a very erroneous comment about Rodrigo is also not a left-sided outlet. Just tell me that you don't watch Real Madrid. Just tell me that you've not actually watched him at Real Madrid when he plays on that left side. Just tell me. So the left side was dead, essentially. The left side was non-existent until Doku came on, and then I don't think Doku did particularly good 1v1 either. But regardless, there was still something going on when Doku did come on, and as I say, we could say, well, you know, Ainuri went off, Ake came on, he's not really going to support him, But even when Ainuri was on the pitch, I wasn't really getting what I want from that left-sided setup. I'm not getting it. And I really thought that, of course, for us, we'll talk about positives. I really thought that was just so simple. I thought that was just so obvious to me. It just is. Like, you push Ainuri up wide, you allow Marmoush to be more central. I really thought I still think that's the play. I still think that is the play. I still think that's the best thing to do. Hopefully Ainuri's injury isn't too severe, and hopefully we can see that going forwards. I really do hope that is going to be the case. But that's my gripe with that left side. What was interesting, though, is just speaking of positives, what was interesting is that Ake played left central midfield when he came on. And that I was really concerned, because when Ake came on, when Ainuri came down, I was like, okay, maybe Nico O'Reilly will come on to be an overlapping left back, whatever. But Ake came on, and when he came on, I was like, oh my god, are we going to have to sacrifice the 2-3 now? And I think this tells us everything we need to know. The more I think about it, this tells us everything we need to know about how Pep views this side, in respect of how he wants the structure to be in general. He's clearly decided the 2-3 is his go-to shape. He is so desperate to make it a thing that he didn't play Ake in a back three. He played him in the central midfield. He played him left of centre. See, he was basically just doing what Ainuri had been doing. So that's really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Ake, now I think about it, I don't think I've ever seen Ake ever play that high up the pitch on ball, like in the midfield, essentially. I don't think I've ever seen him do that. And I guess that maybe goes to show how dead set he is on getting City into that shape, which is very interesting. Very interesting. Mad Hatter, please tell me all about your fascinating, highly intelligent passing accuracy stats. Please tell me that story again, sir. So that was interesting from a tactical perspective, that Ake opted to play left. Ake was deployed at left central midfield. Interesting. Very interesting. I guess it goes to show that he's grown in confidence on ball as well. You know? I suppose. I wonder what would happen if... I was going to say what happened if Nunes gets injured, but... Sorry, if Lewis got injured. I guess it wouldn't make a difference, would it? It wouldn't really be a problem, that's fine. So that was the left side, wasn't happy with it at all. Didn't like the structure. Another, like, I don't know if this is an instruction, or I don't know if this is just a player doing it. And as I say, we will talk about positives, because I like to talk about positives. And I do think there were some. I think most of the positives did come from the subs, but there were also some there as well. I did not like Shirky, Mad Hatter, you're wrong. Go back. I'm not having a moronic Donnarumma conversation with you. Rewind 10-15 minutes. Again, please regale me with your amazing passing accuracy. Bit of analysis. Would love that from you, mate. What I really didn't like was Shirky's positioning, to be honest with you. Really didn't like it. I don't know if this is an instruction, as I say. I don't know if it is just him doing it. But why is he dropping so deep? And I don't know why I'm asking this, because I know why he's dropping so deep. He's doing it because he feels the need to help out with build-up. Because Nico is not a defensive midfielder, so he feels like he has to go and help out, I suppose. But you lose so much. You lose so much when Shirky drops deep, and it's just so not worth it. And he did it for Leon as well. And this is something that we touched on in the analysis video, that I don't hate it when Shirky does it, but he just needs to be closer to goal. He needs to be influencing play further up the pitch. All it's doing is congesting bodies further backwards. And I just don't like it. I just think we lose so much of that. And that's not really helped when he doesn't really have the runners necessarily to hit as often as he would have liked. But yeah, definitely Jeremy. And if you're playing for Leon, I get it. Because you are the main man. You're the guy. You're the best player. You feel like you have to be at the heart of everything. And I so understand that when you're playing for Leon. 100%. 100%. Jack. He had to do that because that was the correct side to do that in, because you are the main guy. But we all know that Shirky is not a deeper player to me. I'm not saying that he can't play as an 8 or whatever, but that is not where he is best utilised. He needs to be further up the pitch, higher up the pitch, closer to Haaland, closer to goal, closer to the final third. I do not want a player of that quality and that calibre dropping that deep. And it's not like De Bruyne never dropped that deep. You know, it's particularly in his later years, to be fair, he did drop a lot deeper. However, Jeremy, I totally agree. Generally, Kevin De Bruyne was not really known for dropping as deep as to his own halfway line and spreading passes like that. You want De Bruyne closer to the goal where he's able to impact play in the most impactful way. That is what you want. I can't believe it's an instruction. If it is an instruction, then I'm very concerned that Pep's opted to do that. Again, I half understand it. Nico might need a bit more help against high-pressing sides. Sure. But it's almost like this overcompensation which creates an even worse effect of, okay, the idea is you drop deep to help out, but all you're doing is you're inviting players to come closer to you, so you're actually making the situation worse. And now you might need another player to drop deep, and now all of a sudden you've got no one really able to impact the play going forward. So didn't like it, wasn't a fan. I don't like the idea. I really didn't like. I'm not gonna say I didn't like the lineup. When I saw Shirky and Bob together, I was a bit concerned because I still maintain. And again, this is a game same with my opinion on the goalkeeper, where my opinion's just been even more so confirmed that we need Edison to stay. My opinion on Shirky's best position has only been confirmed again, that he needs to be given less defensive responsibility. This is not having a go. This is not having a dig. But he looks lost sometimes and a little bit confused in respect of his out-of-possession role. I don't think he fully understood what was being asked of him. There were too many times where he was leaving Bob on an island, on a pressing island. Yeah, Bob's pressing was fantastic, Bengal, absolutely. But Bob was having to do far too much covering. Thank you, ETH. Better off without Haaland. Juventus game. Don't know if I'm convinced we're better off without Haaland. We'll get into Haaland in a moment, though. Thank you for your super chat, matey. So City set up in what was... So against Wolves, I've seen lots of people describe that as a 4-1-4-1. I'd personally disagree. To me, that was more of a 4-3-3. But it's much of a muchness. It's basically just dependent on the positioning of your wide players. They're basically the same thing, aren't they? But to this one, I did feel like there was a significant difference to me It did seem far more... to be fair, maybe it's just because I was in the stadium, so I was able to see it a bit better. But to me, this was absolutely, definitely a 4-1-4-1. He had Shirky as the right central midfielder, sort of. If like Nico was the defensive midfielder, Reinders left central midfielder, Shirky was right central midfielder. That's not his best out of possession position. I had my concerns when people were suggesting him to play in the midfield that he would struggle there. And in today, he did indeed struggle there. Now, maybe it comes with time. Of course, maybe it does come with time. I'd like to think so. But generally speaking, you're going to see the best of Shirky's off-ball work if he's played at right wing, off-ball, and then allowed to push into the centre with someone else holding width on that right side. I don't think that we are at the stage, I'm willing to be proven wrong, of course. I don't think it makes sense for Bob and Shirky to be starting together right now. Because it means that unless Shirky's being played in a really weird position, that means you're playing probably Shirky in the middle and Bob out wide. I don't like that right now. Because if Bob's playing at right wing, then that means that Shirky can't play there off ball. And it is his first season with City, and there are out of possession concerns. He's not lazy, he's not a bad presser, but he was far more used to pressing at right wing for Lyon. That was his off-ball position, right wing, for the most part. Sometimes it was the centre, but for the most part, right wing. Certainly in his first few matches for City, I don't know why we wouldn't be same situation as Trafford, same situation as Nico. Bed him in slowly. Don't give him that central responsibility at the drop of a hat. Certainly not when Rodri is in that midfield. Certainly not. So those are my thoughts on Shirky. I thought he did create a good chance. There was one from the corner where I think Shirky took the corner and it fell to Shirky and he found Haaland. Haaland's got to do so much better, man. How many times have we spoken about this? I know it's not a case of you're tall, therefore you're good in the air, but you've got to be so much better in the air. And Haaland's got to be better in the air. He's got to do better there. So as much as I've not had a go at Shirky, but I've expressed some concerns. Yeah, definitely, Ari, man. I totally agree. I have expressed some concerns, but at the end of the day, he did still create a very good chance. He did still create a very good chance for Haaland. He should do a lot better there for me. He's got to do so much better there. And yeah, generally, Shirky's just didn't have a particularly good game, I think, in terms of creativity as well. A few errand balls. Wasn't ideal, wasn't optimal. Very good point, Jack. Take advantage of the physical attributes, 100%. I don't know how many times we keep saying this on this channel. So we want to platform our plays for success, and like Shirky is, Shirky and Haaland are those sorts of players, for sure. For sure. I'll come to the chat now because I've been ignoring you guys. Apologies. I'll come to the chat now, and then we'll get on to we'll touch on Haaland a bit more. Bob, we haven't really spoken about Bob yet. Anyone else? I mean, there's not much to say about Reinders. He was a bit anonymous, wasn't he? You know, it's a bad day when Reinders has a bad game or a subpar game, whatever. Nico again, it's a thing. Like, he's not a 6. We know that. We're still yet to talk about the subs and Haaland and Bob. But what are you guys making of what I've said so far? Let me know. Yeah, Donnarumma with his even worse ball playing will definitely be able to help us build out from the back. I agree. Rico was awful, says Harvey. He did not have the best game, and I'm not going to really defend him because I don't think he should have started. I think Nunes should have started, personally. Little sketch with distribution. And this is just like a general thing. Nearly every single one of our players was bad and sloppy with their passing. Maybe part of that is because Spurs were good with their pressing, but I don't think that is the case. I don't think it's as simple as that. You go along. Do you know who Pep Guardiola is? Let me know. Let me know, guys. Why? Okay, D3, take it up with Pep Guardiola. take it up with Pep, because clearly we are still looking to play out from the back. So you can say all you want, well, a goalkeeper should have the job to shot stop. Irrelevant. Look at what our goalkeepers are being tasked with. Look at what they are being tasked with. That is not, they're not doing it for fun. They are doing it because they are being told to do that. Take it up with Pep. And he's not going to change his fundamental philosophy, is he? He's not going to start punting it up long, playing like Burnley, is he? It's not going to happen. Roger still seems out of it, says Zane. He's got a long way to go in terms of his recovery, 100%. I thought he looked fine when he came on. I will talk about him a little bit more, but he did still look like he was coming off an injury, definitely. Definitely. Ricochet of Mark Johnson in that counter. He couldn't keep up. That was the problem. He couldn't keep up. Spurs have always been a bogey team, says Yanko. Definitely. Pep's seen the light. Okay, so why did we try to play out from the back today then, D3? Did you also miss the interview where he said that I need a goalkeeper to be able to play out from the back? We're not going to stop doing it, guys. We're not going to stop doing it. It's not going to happen. If you think the City are going to become a hoofball FC, I actually don't know what to say. 4-4-2, exactly. Spurs were good after the second goal. The passing was so telling. They even tried to find a player in place to punt it so many times. Yeah, the distribution was not good enough from the goalkeeper or indeed the defence today, I'd say. Foden was sick. We'll get onto the subs. But yeah, TLDR thought Foden looked nice. He looked good. I think Stones are applying to bench Diaz. Spurs did a smart thing where Sarr dropped slightly deeper to double up on the 8 on the side of the ball, allow the pass to be played into Nico. As soon as the pass is made, he jumped. Yeah, it's one of those pressing trigger, isn't it? Like where you're waiting for an action and then you engage. And nothing second half, says Jace. Bob was good, says Vader. Definitely. A few Zane, yeah. And it's early days. Needs to do better, for sure. For sure. Holland was way better than people give him credit for. He created the best chance of the game. I do agree with that. Was lively with his movement, despite how uninspired the midfield was. Yeah, it needed to do better with his finishing, though, didn't he? With that header chance. I think, to be fair, I do think that was the only chance, but still, even if it's one chance, you've got to score it against his better sides. Considering we all think I think he's the best striker in the world and very clinical. He's got to be doing better there. To me. For me, sorry. Everyone uncharacteristically poor, willing to write it off, just a shit performance. And that's the thing. That's why I don't want to be too overly reactive here, because I think it might just be it was a pretty bad day at the office. There weren't, of the starting 11, I don't think anyone, aside from Bob, I don't think anyone really had a great game, a good to great game. Really? I can't. No. Yeah. Overall, I think you say Bob was probably the best. Maybe. Nico had a good game. I think he was all right. I think he was fine, but as we've discussed, he was a bit of the reason as to why we did struggle a little bit. So I'm not. You guys know I love Nico. I'm not willing to say he had a good game personally, because I did expect a bit more of him. But again, if we had context, it's a different conversation. But in a vacuum, yeah. Holland can't head the ball and needs to improve his head game. This guy. To be fair, I was only talking about the starting 11. I thought Foden played very well when he came on, to be fair to him, yeah. Sadly, it was... I don't know what the injury situation is with Foden and Rodri. Clearly, they weren't fit enough to come on earlier. They only had 15 minutes. Yeah, asking for a lot there for players coming back from injury to do something in 15 minutes, absolutely. Yeah. Again, I did like Bob. I did feel like a lot of it was... he did beat his man, but then the final action wasn't quite there. Once again, this will come with time, of course. The subs. I was actually... Here's Here's the silver lining, guys. Here is the silver lining. Remember, and maybe this is true. Maybe we'll never see it again. Maybe we'll never see it again. But do you guys remember when we were in? It was the summer, and I said, you know, what could City's tactics be for next season? And I proposed, this is the midfield three that I want. I think that this is our highest ceiling midfield. And so many people laughed at me and said, that's never going to happen. Now, maybe it won't happen again, because it was only there for 15 minutes. However, I got my preferred midfield for 15 minutes. Small wins, guys. Small wins. I got my midfield three of Rodri, Reinders, and Foden. That's as good as that means more to me than 3 points. It doesn't, obviously. That's a joke. That, you know, small wins though. We did see that. Now, I would love it if that is a sign of things to come. And I'm very happy that is how, because when Foden came on and Bernardo was on the pitch, I was like, okay, Bernardo central and then Foden to the right. It's going to be something annoying like that, isn't it? And then I saw Bernardo's starting position. I was like, oh, he's moving to the right? Could it be? And it was also in the positions as well. It was Foden at left central midfield and Reinders right central midfield with Rodri as the 6. And it was only 15 minutes, but I don't care. I got my midfield, so I'm leaving here with something. Yeah, I'm leaving here with something. And yeah, I did think that the midfield did look a lot better when they came on. Like, obviously, Rodri is Rodri. There's one moment where he headed it back and Trafford had to deal with it. But apart from that, Rodri did show what we miss when he's not on the pitch and when Nico is trying to do an impression of him. This is not an insult to Nico, but he is not that guy, of course. Rodri is Rodri. Rodri looked good. Foden looked good as well, I thought. He may have had an assist. Rodri, I need to look at the replay. To me, it looked like Rodri had a free header. Like from that corner from Foden, which I think may have been his first touch on the ball. It looked like he should have done a lot better with that header, so that was a shame. I did also like it's an amazing block by Van de Ven, to be fair. I did like the fact that when Doku was attacking that left side and Foden made that late run. And this is what I want. This is what I want. There's no reason why you can't start in midfield but then push up and advance and be a goal threat. The best goal-scoring midfielder in Premier League history did that on a week-to-week basis. So playing him in that position does not take away from his goal-scoring and final third work at all. Because that was... in the limited time he was on the pitch, he may have had an assist had Rodri done better with the header, and but for an unbelievable Van de Ven block, which, as I say, was really, really good, he may have even had a decent shot on a goal as well. So he looked tidy on ball, good decision-making, good passing overall, adventurous passing as well. Like, there was that one where he had it on the left and he switched out to Foden off that right side. That was nice, liked that. If we have that sort of Foden this year, then we're going to be fine in terms of the midfield, so long as he's played in midfield. So I really liked the Foden cameo. That was a fun time had by all. And Rodri didn't look washed, did he? But again, it's a what's it? It's a thing. He's just come back from injury. It's a thing. So there were some positives from the match, absolutely. And we should have scored. As much as I've said Spurs causes issue with their pressing, and as much as I've said how Frank did well and we made silly errors, we still should have scored a few goals. Marmouche got to do better. Got to do better when he's 1v1. The tight angle one from Marmouche, it was on his weak foot. That could have been a goal. It was a decent effort, decent chance. Started from Trafford into Haaland into Marmouche. The Shirky one following the corner to Haaland's head, that should probably be in the back of the net. The Rodri header that I've just discussed from the Foden corner, that should probably be at least challenging the keeper. That could have even been a goal. The best chance, though, yeah, exactly, IFL, where they mess around playing out from the back. Haaland gets it. It's a basic, it's like a pass I would expect a child to be able to make. You've got to do that. Into Shirky, I think it was, and he has an open goal, a tap in, and it was just not our day. It was just not our day with the passing. Clearly, we weren't good enough in that sense. We weren't clinical enough in front of goal. And that takes it to 2-1. And then you don't know what happens thereafter, do you? Because that happens relatively... In fact, when did that happen? I actually don't know. I feel like it happened in around the 50-ish minute. 50-ish. Around the 50th. Something like that. I don't know. I don't know when it was. I was trying to find out, but I don't know if I can. I don't know when it was exactly. 52nd, thank you. So it happened early enough where that goes in. You 2-1. All of a sudden, the crowd are up for it, of course. City are up for it. Maybe Spurs get a little bit nervous, make some more errors, etc., etc., etc. It's just one of those days, I think. And that's not to take anything away from Spurs, of course. And it's not to take anything away from how City still have issues. Of course they do. But I'm not willing to go mental and say that, this now means that, City are actually shit and we haven't progressed and we're still really bad. I'm not willing to say that because there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on in that match, which was either unfortunate or just bad or unforced. Some of it forced by Spurs is good play, and there are still some positives to come from. There were still some positives. On another day, Haaland doesn't make a really weird pass. On another day, Marmoush converts from Haaland's chance. On another day, Haaland scores that header. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. We were good today for 2 to 3 goals, I think. Definitely. I don't think that's unfair to say. One of those, and that won't be reflected in the XG because the best chance didn't materialize into a shot. But it's a thing. It's a thing, and I'm still hopeful that we're going to have a good season this year. There were some good things that I liked. There were still some things I liked. I really liked the midfield that ended the game. I liked Bob's performance. But obviously some things have to change. Obviously some things have to change. And that will hopefully come with time, with patience, with the players like understanding the new setup as well and understanding one another. I don't think it's as straightforward as just like overnight they can immediately take to it and take to each other. A lot of new signings happening here as well. We'll see. Thank you, German Chicken Wing, for your super chat, mate. What's up? Don't you think City is suffering from the inverting right back and left back tactics? We are leaving space behind by doing it. We absolutely are. We will leave. What I will say to that, though, is we'll leave space no matter what. No matter what we do, we will be leaving space. If we push the fullbacks up, if we tuck them inside, the only way we won't leave space is if we just, have them in their set position. And we know that we don't play with like a traditional back four like that. So that is a thing. Here's a fortune for you, German Chicken Wing. A bird in the hand is worth 3 in the bush. I do like that expression. It's like counting your chickens and all that. Don't let Ryan off the hook. 1v1 with the keeper and decide to try an impossible pass. Yeah, that was frustrating as well, Lou. You're not wrong. Yeah, I didn't mention that one, did I? No, you're absolutely spot on. So yeah, there were a number of moments, as I say, 2, 3, 4 chances for City to score, and we weren't clinical enough with that final action, whether it was the pass, whether it was the decision-making, whether it was the shooting. I can see positives, though. Again, that midfield, I'm so convinced that's our best midfield 3. Rodri, Foden, and Reinders. I'm very convinced of that, and in those positions as well. Foden off the left, Reinders off the right. If that turns into our best midfield this season, I want, like, some sort of fucking royalties from Pep Guardiola, because that means that he has been watching the LNobbins streams. Definitely, he's been copying me. It's not that he already thought of that idea and I was just able to easily see it from the makeup of the squad. He's been copying me, if that happens. And I want royalties. I demand reparations. I demand payment. Yeah? I'm an expensive boy. Yeah? You can't save money with me. Can't save money with me. Don't go anywhere, guys, because we have so much to touch on. So much to touch on. Still, we're going to be here for like another 30 minutes or something, so don't go anywhere at all. Pep is in this chat, yeah? And as I say, I'm not a cheap date, Pep. I'm not a cheap date. You can't save money with me because of that. Wait, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? I've clicked the wrong button. Can't save money with me. Shall I tell you what you can save money with, though, guys? With today's sponsor, NordVPN. Thank you so much to Nord for opting to support this channel and to support your boy. Do not go anywhere, because we're going to be talking more about the match after this very brief interlude. Guys. Here is the thing. Here is the situation. NordVPN are sponsoring today's stream. Click that link in the pinned comment if you would like to explore a unique offer, nordvpn.com/LNobbins. You can also scan this QR code. What do I mean by saving money? I have been looking into this because I am going to be using Nord this season, in particular for the 3 p.m. kickoff games. Now, as a content creator, I obviously need to have the match on live, obviously. So I can't watch it on a stream, that sort of thing. However, if you aren't a content creator and all you really care about is watching the match, and especially if you're living in England, it is ridiculous. It's genuinely insane how much money you have to pay. Like, my package in total is over like 100 quid to get BT Sport, to get Amazon, to get Sky, to get the internet. All in all, it is ridiculous and it's insane. Now, I have to do that because I'm a content creator. I need it live. However, if you are in England, as I say, and if you want a cheaper alternative, you can get a Nord subscription and you can go to somewhere like Todd TV. This is a Turkish broadcaster. This is the official Turkish broadcasting partner of the Premier League. I've looked into them, and I actually might be doing this myself. So, for example, as I say, like the Premier League, you might be spending like over 100 quid a month just to watch all this football. If you want to just have like a monthly situation with this particular service, there are others out there, like you can do Peacock, for example. You can, for 350 Turkish lira, which is £6.50, 350 Turkish lira is £6.30, sorry. You can get access to the Premier League, to League and loads of other sports and loads of other leagues. That is the beauty of having a VPN. I've already tested it with Nord, and it does absolutely work. Other VPNs might be free HSV, but it is not just a VPN service. It is also a password manager service. It is also a deep web security tracker. Also, there is so much to love about Nord, and I do genuinely use them. If you care about your online security and safety, and you care about saving money on your football viewing experience, scan the QR code or click the link in the pinned comment so that you can explore an exclusive LNobbins discount, 2 years plus an extra few months free. That's nordvpn.com/LNobbins if you guys want to look into that. Thank you so much again to Nord for sponsoring this channel and this stream. Thank you. Once again, I will not recommend you guys a product I do not believe in. I use it myself, would recommend. None of that was scripted, by the way. I did all that off the top of the dome. That's the wrong button. I think that was actually pretty impressive. And again, it's easy to speak about something if you believe in the product. Back to the football, though, guys. Back to today's situation and match. Is there anything else that we wanted to touch on? The players' lack of energy, the poor pressing. City don't know how to press. When you see teams like PSG and City do nothing, says Alex. I would have liked to have had a bit more physicality on there, to be honest with you. I would have liked to have seen Nunes there as an example. Sadly, that was not the case. Give me a reason to keep hoping. About what, mate? About what specifically? About what specifically? Let me know. We've nearly got around, what, like 300 people watching here, something like that? How many likes are we on? I don't know how many likes we're on, but it's not good enough. Yeah, I want more. Leave a like on the video. It's free. It helps support your boy. It's more than good on a ball, mate. It can provide your... It can secure your online safety and save you money. And all that jazz. Yeah, only 150 likes, not good enough. I want 200. Come on. Come on, guys. Get it up here. Shirky off-ball movement, the improvement. I agree, Razor. I agree. It's too soon. I've seen, and this isn't me being. I'm not talking about this game. I said this in the Shirky analysis video, so you guys know that I'm not just basing it off like a one sample size situation. When I saw like people suggesting the midfield and it had Shirky in it, I just don't think they've watched enough of him at Lyon, to be honest with you. I don't think that he's ready to be trusted in that midfield. Now, I'm totally willing to be proven wrong, but based off what I saw at Lyon, based off what I've seen from him so far at City, he's not yet ready to do that. He's not yet ready to do that. You can still get him into the side, obviously. Of course you can. I don't like the idea of him either being in the midfield in the press or leading the press. AP says, how is Foden as the left central midfield? AP, our dream has actually happened. Go watch the last 15 minutes if you want. I would recommend. It was actually very good there. And we actually got it. We actually got it, guys. Foden left central midfield, Reinders right central midfield, and then Rodri in defensive midfield. It's in my dream. It's become a reality, and I'll never see it again. And I'll never see it again. Sorry, so let me disconnect my VPN browser because I was connected to Turkey. Because I was looking at Todd TV. It's through beIN Sports, FYI. I know some people were asking about what service I use. I might use them. I hope we not all agree Marmish is not a winger. I don't think anyone, to be fair, has ever said he's a winger. My biggest pet peeve since Shirky joined is he drops to... Yeah, Musty, definitely. We've touched on that 100%. 100%. Flaws, mate. Respect it. Respect it. Respect it. It was a very good. It was a very good advert. Yeah, Shirky wasn't the main issue. Oh yeah, of course. He was an issue, but what wasn't the main issue? I do totally agree. As soon as Foden and Rodri came in, the game really changed. Did you notice that? I thought the midfield looked so much better. 100%. 100%. We need them to come back ASAP. And that's another thing to say. Like someone was saying that you give me hope. Give me hope. That sort of thing. We do have a lot of good players still to come back. This isn't copium. Like, this is real. We still have Gvardiol to come back. We still have Foden to come back. And you're right, Lou. Yeah, when Van de Ven went into him, like, Foden was limping for, like, 3 minutes after. I really hope he hasn't aggravated it. Yeah, when Foden comes back into the side as well, and when Rodri comes back into the side as well, we should be seeing a much better City, to be honest with you. I think that performance has again just convinced me more so that Shirky should not be playing centrally off ball. It's convinced me that Foden should be playing centrally on and off ball. It's confirmed what we thought about the build-up, which we have discussed at length. It's confirmed that Bob is a baller and is a ridiculous option off that right side. And if Shirky is used how I want him to be used, technically off that right side, then I really don't. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter. Yeah, we do need them Herbal, absolutely. Well, Foden finished the game, obviously, and he looked fine thereafter, so hopefully he'll be all right. Hopefully he'll be chilling. People on Twitter were hating on Bob. See, I thought Bob actually played quite well, but it was just, which we touched on, the issue was just that the final act, whether it was the pass, whether it was the shot, whether it was like, did he need to do that extra action? But I liked Bob. I liked how brave he was. I liked how he kept taking on his man, Spence. So it was a good battle out there. Good battle there. Good battle. He was frustrating, yeah, but we're going to see that. Like, the team were 2-0 down. You've got to have players who are willing to try something. How many times last season did people complain about, a player not taking a risk, not playing at the pass forwards, not wanting to progress and dribble centrally, We've got to accept that this is going to happen. This is going to happen when you've got players who are burdened with making something happen and trying something. So I don't mind if like players have like a shot from outside the box, even if it's not necessarily on, as long as it's like not like too late in the game or whatever. I don't really mind that. Yeah, there was lots of overthinking, lots of overcomplicating, and I'm not too concerned. I'm not too concerned based on that. Maris won a trophy over Ronaldo today. Yes, Riyadh. Love that from you. Love that from you. Yeah, flaws. I don't disagree, to be honest. I do not disagree. Yeah. I think Savio might have been an interesting option to have. Even if just off that left side and spamming in crosses. That might have been interesting as an option. Yeah, big up to Mahrez. I'd still have Savio off that right side, to be honest with you. But there's no reason why he can't sometimes play off the left. There's no reason why that can't happen at all. I do hope they both stay. Naveen, Ederson is the one for me now. Like, I already knew. Because someone asked me, if you had to have one or the other, Rodrigo or Donnarumma, who would you have? I think, I understand the Rodrigo one far more than the other. So, you get me. Hello, Total Football Talk. We overplayed one too many times. Totally agree. Yes, definitely. 100%. Who will Pep start against Brighton? If you want my thoughts, you have to watch the preview. And again, I know the match has happened now, but go watch the preview and go see how I actually sort of call the problems that City might have and all that stuff. I was quite impressed with that. I only got 7 out of the starting 11 right though, because I don't know what is happening with Ederson. I really thought Ederson should have started. I predicted him to start. I wanted him to start. So match week 1, 6. Match week 2, I got 7 out of the 11 right. So I need to target 8 next week. That is the goal. That is the idea. Hopefully that'll be the thing. Exactly, Ironman. Go back and see how well I did. What do you think should be the next step for Pep regarding Kusanov after today's game? In an ideal world, Kusanov would get integrated. He would get integrated in an ideal world. But if we are if these two things happen, we are either bleeding in a new goalkeeper who's inexperienced, or we bring in a goalkeeper who is tragic on the ball, then I don't know how realistic it is to try to integrate Kusanov right now. It's not the right environment to do it for him, I'd say. So it's going to be even trickier. It's going to be even trickier to try to get him into the side with everything else that's changing at the back. It's a tricky one. Playing against the Burnleys and the Sunderlands, yeah, I do not disagree. I do not disagree at all. Hopefully Gvardiol will be ready for Brighton. We need him to start. I agree, Elias. Totally agree. What am I saying? Yeah, Gvardiol must start. That has to happen. If Rodri's available to start, that has to happen. If Foden's available to start, I think that has to happen. Who gets dropped? I drop Diaz. Right now. If Ederson's not starting, I need Gvardiol and Stones. If they're available, I need my best ball players on the pitch. I need my 2 best ball playing defenders. Centre-back, sorry. If Ederson's not on the pitch. There's no doubt in my mind that Trafford could become that sort of player, but there's a reason why I wanted to bleed him in slowly, gradually. I had concerns that he wasn't going to be able to do that step up, whatever. And it's only 1 game. Just seems an unnecessary risk to do that. We need the situation sorted out sooner rather than later with this Ederson vibes. Are you staying or are you going? Please stay. And if it is the former, he's got to start. He's got to start. And then maybe you can entertain Diaz. But if Trafford's starting, or even worse in respect of ball playing, if Donnarumma is starting, then it is a non-negotiable for me. It is a non-negotiable. The centre-back pairing must be Gvardiol and Stones. It has to be. It has to be. We definitely need a left footer at left centre-back if we're going to play out like that. Got to happen. I love having the left footer on the left of midfield with Foden. I love having the right footer of Reinders on the right of midfield, and obviously you got Rodri there too. Nori, we need him. We so need him to not be too badly injured, and we've got to lean into. I don't know why we're not doing it yet. Lean into unleashing Nori down that left side. Lean into it. You will get the best version of Marmoush if you do that. And I'd argue you get the best version of Doku if you do that as well. And if Rodrigo's at the club, then you'll get the best version of Rodrigo doing that as well. I know, Musty, it's so annoying. It's so frustrating. Nori is not a player who gets injured. It's like Nico. When he first joined, Nico was not a player who gets injured on his debut. Brilliant. Cooler, I could not agree more, mate. I could not agree more. You're preaching to the converted. I totally agree. Kusanov isn't bad on the ball, absolutely. I'd actually go as far to say that he's good on the ball. I don't know if I want to be bleeding in a young, inexperienced centre-back right now, though, given all the other... given the goalkeeping situation that we've just discussed at length, though. That's the concern. That is the concern for me. That's a shame. That is a shame, that's a shame, that's a shame. Positives, there were positives. I like the in-possession shape. I like the out-of-possession shape. I need to see a better way of getting into it. Why would I like to see it, Teddy? I mean, Teddy, notice how much better the midfield was when we saw that. The reason why I'd like to see that personally is because Reinders, it doesn't really matter whether you play him right or left. Although we did see against Wolves, he played off the right and he was fantastic. He's also just able to dribble a little bit easier on that right side. But also, Foden's best position is in the middle to the left of centre. Doesn't matter if you want to say it's as a 10 or an 8. I'm not going to be precious about it. But I've always maintained that his best position is left of centre. And I think we saw that in his Player of the Season year. We saw it against some really good matches in the Champions League, like against Leipzig. He's a much better all-rounder off that left side. Less of a goal threat, sure, but better overall. There's no reason why he can't interchange and rotate as well. Even like, yeah. No, means Foden can cut. Yeah, he can definitely cut in on the right, definitely. But Foden's more than a player who can score from outside the box. He's so much more than that. And you lose that if you play him off the right because his right foot is shit. His right foot is shit. And because of his obviously favoured left foot, he's far more of a non-factor in the overall play on that right side. Still obviously good, but you'll get a far more rounded version of Foden off that left side. And still a decent goal threat. Like, do you remember that goal in the derby a couple years ago? It was the second of Foden's goals, I think, where he started off the left and he still played it across goal. Oh. Is that true, Dylan? Oh. Would you say this is a transitional season? Maybe it is, but we've got good enough players where we shouldn't have to be relying on saying it's a transitional season, to be honest with you. Yeah. You know. My expectations. We need to compete. We need to compete for the title. I don't expect us to win because we're not the favourites. I get that. But I expect us to compete. And I expect us to be well within there. Well still in the title race in the last few games of the season. And if we're not, then that is a bad season. I know how good the players we are. I know how good the players are that we have. I know their level. I know that there is a team in there that can win the title, certainly compete for it. I know there is definitely a team in there. I think that we built one in the summer on our tactics board. We saw a flavour of it today. We saw the midfield. I really hope we continue to do that. What I now need to see is the fullbacks used optimally. I need Aït-Nouri and Núñez on the pitch at the same time, and I need them to be facilitating the width. That is what I want. We've got so many good narrow players in the team. Bob, Cherki, Foden, Marmoush, Reinders. Facilitate them, enable them correctly, platform them for success by letting the fullbacks do the job of holding the width out there. Again, you'll see a better version of Bob if we do that. And we've already seen a good version of Bob. You'll see an even better version of him as well, because he's a central player. Certainly Cherki, obviously Foden, obviously Marmoush as well. That's what I'd like to see. I need to see that against Brighton. If I don't, then I'm going to be very upset. And because that would have been 3 games in a row. That would be 3 games in a row where we've not leaned into that setup, which we did do at the Club World Cup. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Those are the vibes. Those are the vibes. That's the situation. That was for City manager. I'm so not smart enough to do that, mate. So not smart enough. Does Alvarez fit in any of our systems? I'd say he fits in even less. Even less. Dark Ale, what's your take on City losing? Oh, I mean, this has been this whole stream, mate. There will be a post-match analysis video, which will get uploaded tomorrow. There'll also be a YouTube short, 5 observations we learnt from the match. So stay tuned for those as well, of course. I don't think there's not going to be any other watch-alongs because I don't think there's any other games I'm particularly interested in streaming. Yeah, the games tomorrow look like booty, so not interested in that. No, Anchit, in fact, my opinion has been solidified. It's a very interesting paradigm. Again, like people on Twitter, whatever. I'm not having to go with anyone here necessarily. I clearly tweet about how we were not good enough at build-up. That's because we've lost Edison. We need to acknowledge that that's a problem. We might need to look into keeping him. And then people comment and go, "Oh, Nobbins, I bet you feel silly on Donnarumma now." No, if anything, like, I've been proven correct. What's going? Unless I'm missing something. To be fair, I might be. But if anything, it's the opposite of what these people are saying, isn't it? Because we've seen that there is going to be a reliance on playing out from the back based on the start of this season. And we've seen that even now we struggle. It's going to get worse if we make it worse. Why would I want to make it worse? Odd. My lineup, Chris, I will do a tactical preview the day before the next match, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss that one. Can we a last bit of a push? Can we get to 200 likes, please, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you very much. Do we have any final thoughts? I was the one on Twitter. What, were you the one that said a silly thing, or were you saying a sensible thing? Nightpan got a pre-assist. Yes, big up. Yes, we play Brighton, don't we? I think we play Brighton, and then it's international break. Let me double check. Exactly, Jewel. That's the point. And it's not even about the goal. Take the goal out of it. People are... It's this... What's it called? They've got their blinkers on. And all they can see is this. Which is shit all. You're not... If all you're doing is focusing on the goal that was conceded, which is relevant, but that is not even the point. The point is that in general, that's how we played. It's not just about that isolated incident. And it will get worse. It will get so much worse if that happens. And I'm sure we will get him, but I don't get why. City's next match, Brighton. 31st of August, so that is next Sunday. And then it's the international break, and then it's the derby. So the difficult start continues, I'm afraid. I just want Stones to not even go on international duty. That's what I want. We're winning both those games. I hope so, mate. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Jewel. So if it comes down to it, Nobbins, Edison goes, we have to get a replacement. At that point, who do you go for? Costa. If you're not willing to say, if you're not willing to have Trafford as your starting goalkeeper, if we're living in that world, if we're saying he's not ready, blah, 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 go and get me Costa, who is actually a good shot stopper. Despite what people think, they're wrong. He is actually an above average and good shot stopper. I know it's not really relevant, but he's very good at saving penalties. And he's very good on ball as well. He seems like the perfect Edison successor to me. And I wouldn't have bought Trafford. I said that. I wasn't convinced by him coming in and being the number one. I like the idea of Edison staying, but if it's a case of Edison goes, now I want Costa. No, Wiss. I always wanted one of Chevalier or Costa, but I was asked there, who do I want? I can't have Chevalier, because funnily enough, he's at PSG. I can't just sign him for City. This is the question. Who can they go for now? If that's the question, if Ederson goes, who would I actually want to see come in if we have to bring in a replacement? I'd rather it just be Costa. I can't get my first choice. Costa would probably be my second choice. I don't know what choice Trafford would have been for me personally. I hadn't even contemplated him, so maybe not even like top 10. Ederson would be my number one choice. Based on what's happened with Trafford coming, but there you go. It's a thing. It's a thing. Right, guys. Is there anything else we want to discuss? I think we've covered anything, to be fair. Anything? I think we covered everything. I haven't even really touched on, like, the Rodrigo situation. Again, like, if you think that, like, if you put Rodrigo in Marmoush's position today, he's still going to have to be the left-sided outlet, which is not a good utilisation of him either. It's not actually a case of the personnel with that position. I think it's how they're being used. It's how they're being used. Odd. Odd. Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get people. It's like last season when... It's not... People haven't learnt. Last season, when we were conceding 5+ big chances a game, and people are saying, get inverts. Are you high? We've just conceded like 4 to Spurs, and you're saying get inverts. What? What's going on? What's that based on, Jamie Doku? Because we all know that Marmoush is the better finisher. And yes, because funnily enough, Jamie Doku, I'm not a moron, and I don't base my analysis off a 1-game sample size. I base it off games and games and games and seasons and seasons. And guess what? For the last 2 seasons, Marmoush has been better. Rodrigo has not kicked a ball or whatever this season. Why would I change my mind? Why would I change my mind? Enlighten me, please. Why would I base my analysis off 1 game? I wouldn't, because I have a brain. I wouldn't do that now, would I? I would go off sample size and time and seasons rather than a game. Exactly, Jeremy Doku, big up to you. Sorry, I couldn't tell if you were being sarcastic or not. Right, I'm going to shoot off, I think. I think we've covered everything that we want to do. I think we've covered everything. Let's get it to 200 likes, though. Come on. Ultimate, do you want to be a mod, mate? Because you're always on the Twitch and shit, so you can be a mod. There you go, bosh. You're now a mod. Anything else? Anything else to discuss? Let's get up to 200, and then I'll be a happy boy. I'll stop asking about it. There will be a preview, yes, uploaded before the match. Okay. Okay. Big up to you, Mad Hatter. Why? 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 Giving you the floor. Why do we need him? Rodrigo is also... if we're talking about how they would play for City, then Rodrigo is also not... on that left side anyway, Rodrigo is also not a left winger. I think this is what people don't seem to understand. Go watch Rodrigo for Real Madrid when he plays off the left side, and you tell me... You tell me that you're looking at a left winger there. Who plays if no Ait Nori? I'd like to see Nico played there. To be honest. I don't want to lose that offensive work. I need Gvardiol to start at centre-back. This is what I mean. Not off that left side. Maybe off the right side, sure. But left, nah. Okay, Ethan. Okay, Ethan. I'm going to give you the floor. I'm going to give you the floor. Why do you think, and this is a loaded question, City struggled today to build out from the back. They wanted to build out from the back. They were not able to build out from the back. Why do you want to bring in a goalkeeper who is worse at playing out from the back? Why does that correlate? Let me know. Everyone else shut up. The floor is yours, Ethan. I framed that as I say, it's a loaded question. I framed it in a certain way, but it's a very appropriate way. He would make smarter decisions. But Ethan, he's worse at playing out from the back. I think you're only looking at the second goal. It is not the second goal that is the only problem. It is the entire build-up structure of City. City struggled today to build out from the back. This is an objective truth. We can forget the second goal. Forget the second goal. City struggled to build out from the back, generally. Why would bringing in a worse ball-playing keeper, why would I want to do that? The floor is yours. He's not the worst playing with his feet, but he's not the best. Ethan, he's worse than Trafford. And he cannot play out from the back in the way that we were asking Trafford to do today. So I'll repeat the question. A goalkeeper who can't do this, who does it to a worse standard than what we saw today, and it is to a worse standard, why would I want to introduce that to City? Why would I want to make our build-up play worse than it was today? Because you're asking me why would I not want him? I'm asking you, I'm being cheeky, I'm answering your question with a question. Why would I want to make the situation worse? I'm waiting. I can do this all day. Saying Trafford's better than Donnarumma then. At what, with his feet? Yes? Yes. Because he is. Whisk Gaming. Okay, Whisk Gaming. Right. Okay, we're not done here. We're not done here. How many full 90s did you watch of Donnarumma last season? Tell me now. Tell me. That's not a number. That's an interesting looking number. Tell me, how many full 90s did you watch of Donnarumma last season? That's not a number. If you give me like a number over 10, I just know you're lying. There is no shot. But tell me. Let's see what you say. Let's see what you have to say. I'll wait. I'd like to know the games as well. After I get the number. I know it's at least one, because we played them. I'm still waiting for these numbers. If anyone else wants to answer that question, by the way, go for it. If anyone else wants to answer that question, go for it. A round figure, about 14 plus. Okay, so you've watched shit all of Donnarumma then, Pet. You've watched shit all of Donnarumma from last season. At least 5 of those games are going to be late-stage Champions League games. So you've and one of those was the City game. So that means you've watched maximum, if I'm being generous, you have watched maximum 7 Ligue 1 games from Donnarumma last season. Maximum. That is nothing. You've not watched enough. So don't come to me and try to tell me what Donnarumma is as a player. When you get to the 20s and when you get to the 30s, we can have a conversation. Yeah? Right now, you've not watched enough of him. A lot is not 14 plus. That ain't enough. That ain't enough. And I know I can name at least 7 of those from the Champions League alone. It's always the people who know the least who say the most. Interesting. Name half the games to watch. So he definitely watched he'll have definitely watched the final, obviously. He'll have watched the 2 semi-final matches against Arsenal. He'll have watched the 2 quarter-final matches against that was Aston Villa, was it? I'm getting my orders wrong. And I guess maybe the 2 from Liverpool before then, although there was probably some overlap with the City matches. Of course, the City match. So at least half of those are late-stage Champions League. So it is, it's there or thereabouts, isn't it? So that's 7 or 8 that we've just been able to do quite easily there off the top of our heads. So you watched him late on in the Champions League. Why didn't you just say that, mate? Why didn't you just say that and stop wasting my time? Come on now. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Come on now. On that note, who else should we get? Keep Ederson, mate. I'd keep Ederson personally. As I've been saying for the past however many weeks and months, even when Trafford signed, I want Ederson to stay. Maybe he can be eased in. Who knows? But right now, no. No. If we're playing such a high line, logically, we would need a better shot-stopping goalkeeper. Well, logically, if we're still insistent on playing out from the back, we need a better on-ball goalkeeper. If you change how you play, fine. But it looks like we aren't. So it's irrelevant, isn't it? You know what I mean? Big up to you, W. Donkey. I wouldn't watch this last 10-15 minutes if you want a better headspace, because I've sort of lost it. Oh my god! You're not wrong! How... He'll have watched the Club World Cup final, at least. Minimum. He'll have probably watched the semi-final as well. That's another 2. Okay, so what we've established is that when he said a lot, what he actually meant was, I've watched him in the Club World Cup and the latter stages of the Champions League. Wow, okay, we've actually figured it out. Crazy. We've actually been able to pinpoint every single game this man's watched. A lot. I mean, hey, Joel, we can go one step further than that. Where was the shot stopping against Nice? Where was the shot stopping against Montpellier? Where was the shot stopping against Liverpool? You know? Where was the brilliant cross claiming against Arsenal in the group stages? Where was the brilliant shot stopping against Atletico Madrid? Worst Gaming, I have watched nearly every single Donnarumma game from last season. Funnily enough, it is my job as a content creator. I need to know about the players I'm talking about. I have watched at least 30 games of Donnarumma from last season. At least 30 of the starts he did. I've watched the vast majority of his League 1 games. I believe he started 28. I think I've watched around 20. You have watched about 14, and we've just established they were all either in the Champions League latter stages or the Club World Cup. Do not come to me and tell me that you know anything about how much football I have watched. Hold that. This guy is actually insane, man. I think he's actually got problems, to be fair. Yeah, he's well rattled. I feel like it'll be like, you know, some sort of like hate crime if I keep going. So I'm gonna like stop, to be honest with you. I used to have a teacher who scolded me LNobbins. Right, guys, we're gonna shoot off. Thank you very much for you guys for watching today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm going to Jack, you do what you want, mate. Yeah, let him calm down. I'm gonna wrap it up there. As I say, I'm now gonna go. I'm gonna chill out now. I will work tomorrow. I'll rewatch the match, and then I'll do an analysis video of it tomorrow along with the YouTube short. So stay tuned for that. More content to come, of course. Oh, we gegenpress out here. We gegenpress, Michael. It's very funny when people try to say, do your research, da 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 da. Don't come at me. Don't come at me like that, because you will lose every single time. I can promise you of that. I promise you of that. If I'm speaking about a player in absolute terms, I've done my research. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.